Well, a new Undercover video shows that the United Nations is terrified of another Trump presidency. We have all the details here on Beyond the Headlines, only on Vigilant News. This segment is sponsored by Gold Co., helping Americans protect their retirement and savings with real gold and silver at bnngold.com. I'm Elijah Schaefer. Let's start the show. Well, a new Undercover video from Mug Club shows the unthinkable. A UN employee who's pretty high up there, an officer, in fact, is explaining that the UN is terrified of Trump because he is what? Well, rather than telling you, I'd love you to watch the Undercover video because when I first saw it, I was just as shocked. They're afraid of nationalism, but why? The details will alarm you.
One of the goals for the UN.
Absolutely. It's a threat to the absolute power of the United States.
One of the defining features of this MAGA movement is the ultranationalism. And one of the main enemies are what they call the globalists. And the definition of a globalist.
One of the objectives of the UN is to create an identity of a globalist citizen.
They create this institution which is the closest we've ever got to kind of like a world government.
You know, the United Nations does not have its own army. Absolutely.
I'm not sure the United Nations as an institution is going to survive a second term by Donald Trump. The United States government funds 27% of the UN budget.
Is that more than anyone else?
Oh, by a long stretch.
A United Nations without the action of the United States backing it up, it's not going to be effective.
The purpose of Donald Trump is to end the international institutions that somehow level the playing field. It's a movement that is deeply nationalistic. It's America first, America, make America great again, America. He wants America first.
What does the UN not want him? Yeah, because I remember her.
I mean, we are terrified. They're terrified.
So the internal vibe of the UN is like no one wants Trump because
Absolutely nobody wants Trump.
So is the UN just like useless now?
I would say for 95% of issues related to international peace and security, yes.
So one of the crazy parts about this is the member of the UN says, hey, you know, he's ultra nationalistic. So this is going to be a real problem for us because he wants to put America first. He wants America for the Americans to do what they want. And we're trying to make people global citizens. Now, that's a really interesting thing because a lot of people would say, well, I don't think the UN's really trying to push globalism. But this guy says globalism is real. Their intentions are true. Everybody knows this. And Donald Trump, unlike the establishment Republicans and Democrats, genuinely and thoroughly would like to see nothing else but America succeed. Now, I wish we had the 2016 Trump back. I wish he was a little bit more, in your face, a little more honest. I know he's trying to appeal to moderates these days, and maybe it'll work. I hope it does, because our other option with Kamala Harris is literally terrible. But the craziest part about this, and I want to focus on this next part, is where the guy's explaining exactly what the problem is and why they don't want him in office. It's not just because of his ultranationalism, but they also see the idea of an American identity as a threat.
Which is the lawyer of the United Nations.
One of the defining features of this MAGA movement is the ultranationalism. No, ultranationalism. It's a movement that is deeply nationalistic. It's America first, America, make America great again, America. We hate everybody that is not us, doesn't think like us, doesn't look like us, right? That's a central element.
I'm happy to vote. That was fun.
And one of the main enemies are what they call the globalists. I'm the definition of a globalist. I'm not sure the United Nations as an institution is going to survive a second term by Donald Trump.
Wait, say that again? Oh, I don't want to come.
I'm not sure the UN is going to survive a second term of Trump.
Why do you say that? There's nothing wrong. Like, I don't think so.
Because the
It's just
purpose of Donald Trump is to end the international institutions that somehow level the playing field.
Yeah,
He wants America first.
no, just the UN not. I mean, yeah, because I remember her.
I mean, we are terrified. We're terrified. They create this institution, which is the closest we've ever got to kind of like a world government.
A world government,
A world state.
like a one world government.
Exactly.
So is globalism one of the goals for the UN?
Absolutely. It's to create a space for also the creation of a consciousness of a species, of a planet, of an identity as a planet. One of the objectives of the UN is to create an identity of a global citizen.
Of a global citizen?
Yes, of someone who shares an identity, a political identity with everybody on this planet.
Is that known though that the UN wants? That's one of the goals of the UN?
Yes, and I get it. That is annoying for people that are ultra-nationalists, but it's a threat to the absolute power of the United States.
Why?
Because they don't want an institution over the U.S. telling the U.S. what to do. The United States pays 27% of the total budget of the United States. For example, say that the United
And there it is, right? They think that Trump is going to stop another or stop the UN from existing. They think that he's going to pull the budget like he did from the Climate Paris Accord. What you see here is globalists against the American identity. Now, as many of you guys know, the world is literally falling apart, and they say that cash is king, but you know, you really can't trust your currency. They're printing out trillions of your dollars, and it's losing its value every day. That's why Americans like myself are trusting Goldco, a top-rated precious metals company with over 6,000 five-star reviews, trusted all over the map by many, many, many Americans to help convert their dollars into real gold and silver. Look, whether it's an IRA, whether it's your savings, whether you just want to have some gold to hold on to and buy, look, it doesn't matter your motives. The key thing is that gold retains its value. And right now, when you go to vnngold.com, vnngold.com, my friends at Goldco can give you a 10% instant match when you call today and you invest in real gold and silver. So you can literally get what you're putting in, get a match. It's like free money, essentially. Right now, when you do something good for yourself and your family, make sure that you invest in real gold at vnngold.com. That's vnngold.com. Now, as I mentioned, he goes on to explain the issue of the U.S. and the fact that the UN is afraid that it's going to be exterminated if Trump gets into office. Listen.
The Nations creates an environmental agency, and that environmental agency says that countries can only reach a certain level of pollution. How do you think all these crazy Maya people are going to react to that? Who are you, globalists, to tell me, the United States, what I can do?
So is the UN just like useless now?
I would say for 95% of issues related to international peace and security, yes.
95%
Yes.
related to international
It's not
matters?
international peace and security.
International peace and security.
Yes, which is the main goal of this institution.
So it's 95% useless for that.
It's 95% useless.
There are many instances of human rights in which skillful lawyers can take cases in case Trump decides to go completely wrong. One instance is the United Nations, but another instance that I think would work even better is the Organization of American States. It's a regional international organization. Its member states are only in the Americas. So they generally deal with regional matters. The thing is, they have a very good human rights tribunal system. And the United States is part of that human rights system. So you can bring cases against the United States to that system. That is one way to go.
So the political appointees don't work.
Oh no, oh no.
Like who?
Like I mean.
So that's what we're up against. That's what we're fighting. And as an American, do you want to have your identity be about the global identity? Do you want to be a global citizen or do you want to be an American citizen? Well, I think I know the answer to that. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. Give me your feedback. And if you like videos like these, join us in the fight against mainstream media by going to vigilantnews.com and signing up for a newsletter. Have a great rest of the week as always. And may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.